Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of the Coastal Fitness Podcast, and I have my good friend Jock by my side. Jock, good to have you, buddy. Let me give you a little hug. Good to have you. So today's topic will be what's lacking in most mixed martial arts or martial arts programming or training.
Yeah.
Right. That's going to be the general topic of today.
Of course.
And I think Jock is a great person to speak about it because of his background, and we're going to delve into that.
Yeah.
Right? So let's start with that. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself for people that don't know who you are?
Yeah. So basically, I started wrestling when I was really young, about 6 or 7 years old. My dad was a wrestler, so I started wrestling because of him. And yeah, I just wrestled for most of my life till I was about like 2012. So I stopped at 2012, and then from there I worked with a lot of mixed martial artists in like the world circuit, trained a couple of those guys with wrestling specifically. Wow. And then I moved over to Saudi, where I was the wrestling coach for the Saudi American top team Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu squad. So that was where I kind of started working in more into the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well, and then that's where I fell in love with BJJ.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I think what's awesome about you is that one of the many things that are awesome about you is that you're a great athlete. So not only are you a good CrossFitter, you got a solid background in wrestling, but you also got a background in rugby and in athletics and stuff. Could you shed some light on that?
I used to play professional rugby when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I played for the Lions. It's a South African professional team for the under 19 circuit. So that was a big part of my dream, was to become a Springbok rugby player when I was young, but injuries prevented me to get further, like in any sport. And I used to be a javelin thrower in athletics, so
cool.
Competed for South Africa a little bit, and it was fun. I mean, I love all sports overall, so it's a great thing for me to be able to have done all those things.
Yeah. So this is a great thing because we're currently in this gym specialized in strength and conditioning, right? And the cool thing about you is that you have an insider perspective on martial arts because you practice it. You do BJJ, you got this wrestling background. So let's start first by, could you describe the landscape of the current condition with regards to training for mixed martial arts and stuff like that, the conditioning aspect, the strength aspect?
Yeah, so
how does it look like currently?
I feel like there's a lot of old school fighters that believe that they should only be training on the mats. So they lack that opportunity to be the best version of what they can actually be. And they believe that that's the only way. And I feel like as soon as they're going to start reacting to what we have for them, it's going to make them so much better and healthier, because they struggle with injuries on a daily or weekly basis. Having knee op after knee op, having elbow problems, wrist problems. So it's never injury free, which I'm not saying it's not because they're on conditions. I'm saying that maybe if we can work with them a little bit better, they can be more prepared for that situation. Because we can all agree that MMA or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really hard and taxing on the body. So if I'm not prepared enough to be able to take all those hits and be able to go into those positions, then that's why I'm getting injuries. Yes, there is freak accidents. Yes, an injury can happen with anything, but we want to try and prevent it as much as possible. And if we can get the body conditioned enough to be ready for it, then that will keep them healthier for longer, and that's what we want at the end of the day, right?
That's awesome. So, in your opinion, most practitioners that want to get to the next level, let's say, right? What they're lacking is a more varied background and stuff, or is that what you mean? Or
what I mean is that they need to be more specifically trained for their sport. So specificity, like we've been talking about, is really important, that you need to spend the time on the mat.
Exactly.
But at the same time, for your body to be able to be on the mat, we need to condition it to be able to take all that strain.
Yes.
So there's so many things that you need to touch on, like explosive power, agility, unilateral strength, because we're always working in single single arm, single leg stuff. So we can strengthen the body enough in all of those planes to make you a much better athlete. And for me, being in CrossFit in that setting and strength and conditioning, I feel much better on the mats because I'm conditioned enough for it. Like, I'm not picking up that simple small injuries because of the lack of muscle build or the lack of strength in elbows. And that I learned, like, I did not do anything like this when I was wrestling professionally. And now that I have that background, I feel way better, and I wish that I did the stuff that I did now. That would have made me a way better wrestler, and maybe you never know, I could have been much better than I was. So that's the big thing they are lacking, and the understanding of that is that they need to watch. There's a lot of guys doing the right stuff, but then there's a lot of guys, if they're going to do the right stuff, they're going to be that next level athlete.
Yes, absolutely. So if I understand correctly, and there's a lot of aspects to it, right?
Yeah.
Is that working on strength and conditioning with someone that knows stuff about it could help these athletes be healthier, more balanced, right? So working on muscular imbalances and give them a bigger base of conditioning, right? Aerobic base. And I completely agree, because I remember I have a little bit of background in mixed martial arts and stuff like that, in Taekwondo, and I remember that it was, and this is still the case, it was more about just killing that person and dying instead of progressively getting better at conditioning, right? It's more about that psychological aspect, just go hard and do push-ups and run until you can't run, and just breaking that athlete down instead of progressively building them up, right?
Exactly. So what I see is that they're rushing injuries, they're not doing the correct stuff, and that's why they repeatedly have to go for a knee operation or something like that. Yes, if they had the right rehabilitation, then that should not happen again. We need to strengthen the knee or the elbow or the wrist to a better place than where it was even before I hurt it, so it can be stronger. So if we can get those guys to understand that we need to do the muscular imbalances in the body, we need to work on the small twitch muscles, we need to work on agility, all those small things that will relate going onto the mat, and that will make them a stronger, better, healthier athlete. And that will keep them in the sport a lot longer than they are. At the end of the day, if I can compete more regularly, I will get better at competing, and that will raise my level as well. But what's happening is that they have so many injuries that they may be competing 1 or 2 times in a year, instead of maybe 6 to 8 times a year, because the body, if you prepare it enough, it can handle it. But if you injure it the whole time because your body is not prepared for it, then you're not getting the right stimulus that we need to keep you healthy.
You're right. And I think, not to disrespect any coaches out there, but what I think in general happens is that let's say a mixed martial artist has trained a certain way from his coach, right? And that coach learned from his coach, and it's like an old school approach. Like
exactly.
And what they know is MMA, but they don't know much about that whole other aspect that goes around it. So I think bringing in someone that is experienced in strength and conditioning that could help them with that aspect could, really boost.
That can make a massive difference. That can be the difference between coming first or coming last, in any sport. Like, if you are physically conditioned enough to be able on the mat, the learning aspect of it is then going to be so much easier.
Skill.
Mobility is such a big aspect as well. Like, we've been seeing it in any sport, that is such a big aspect, and even so more in those sports, because in the positions that you end up in. So if they're going to just get that part already prepped, then it's going to be, movement-wise, it's going to be so much easier to flow and to get into certain positions without having to injure yourself or force yourself into a position that you're not ready for yet. And that's like anything. Like, that's like even going into a squat and saying like, I'm going to squat 100 kgs now, but your body is not physically ready to do that yet. And that's the same for BJJ or mixed martial arts or any form of sport.
Yeah, absolutely true. I think we spoke about the most important aspect that we wanted to speak about. Is there any message that you want to give to maybe people that are out there that are doing mixed martial arts or BJJ that want to get better and resonate with this message?
Yeah.
Do you have some kind of takeaway message for them?
Yeah.
How can they start or reach out to someone? Or
definitely be open to new ideas.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. You need to be open to someone giving you advice, and then try it. You know, if you're not going to at least try it, you're never going to know if it's going to work or not.
Yeah.
So be open to someone giving you advice and trying to help you with conditioning or strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone to reach out to, you can always get a hold of us.
Yeah.
On Coastal Fitness has our full information, and you can always contact us. But the main thing is reach out to someone that knows more about it.
Yes.
And try it, see if it works.
Yeah.
And then say, I tried it, it didn't work, or yes, I'm trying it and it's making amazing results.
Absolutely.
And I can almost promise you that it will make a difference.
Yes, for sure.
You are going to feel better, you are going to feel stronger. And that's going to just lift your level up. And especially if you're in a competitive environment and you want to compete, you don't have a choice to say, no, I can't.
Yes.
You need to do it.
Absolutely.
That's just going to make you a better athlete.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jack.
Thank you.
And looking forward to another conversation more on this topic.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for coming by. Peace. And if you enjoyed this episode, please thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And how can people find out more about you? Instagram maybe?
Yeah, Instagram at jog_coach is
Awesome.
my Instagram profile. And you can always contact me there. Email address is also on there, so feel free to pop me a message about anything you have.
Great. Thank you so much, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Take care, bro. Bye. Nice, bro. That was good. No practice, no nothing.